The main reason that I bring up my dad at all is I actually do want to talk about Canadian immigration to the United States. And also the tariffs that are currently affecting the relationship between the U.S. and Canada specifically. But I think that is a...
Do you want to open with that?
Yeah.
I want to talk about this. I'm interested in it right now. I want to talk to you. I want to hear your thoughts.
Okay, well, I think to just like set the backdrop, because I think a lot of people know that there are tariffs that have been put in place or had been threatened for a while as like Trump was approaching.
I think it's worth
getting
saying
into his presidency, right?
By the time this airs, they could be gone.
Yeah, it seems
which is tomorrow. By the way,
day-to-day news. So we're filming this. We're filming this on March 5th, a Wednesday, and it should be coming out on the Thursday right after this. So and already in the past 3 days, there's been like daily updates and changes. So leading up to this point, there was the threats of tariffs like incoming. Trump gets into office, passes a 20 or through executive order imposes 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico.
Yeah.
And then almost immediately paused these tariffs in exchange for
the fentanyl czar.
The fentanyl czar in Canada, and basically more control and effort of like the borders from like the Canadian and the Mexican side. That's what he's asking for, at least.
Yeah. Yes.
And then he paused for 30 days. And I think something that I didn't quite understand is like when this happened, I thought like he, at least from the Trump administration's perspective, had like met goals that they had in place. And then during that 30-day time period, he said they wanted to see whether or not a final economic deal with Canada can be structured. That's what Trump said.
Can I just say, it's very cute that you have notes, because whenever I do this stuff live and I don't know what I'm talking about, I just make it up. But you're like referencing.
Well, so actually for the audience, there's nothing in that notebook. It's just blank.
I memorized the quotes. Interesting.
And that's when Donald Trump said, Aiden's great.
And and he doesn't flake that much. Interesting that he said that. So there was a goal apparently during this time period that out of the initial concessions that he thought he got from Canada and Mexico, or that they did get from Canada and Mexico, which I'll talk about in one sec, that a further deal needed to be made, which I didn't quite understand, in the sense that I don't know what like that ideal trade agreement looks like for him, especially because in the previous administration, Trump had renegotiated aspects of NAFTA. Like a large portion of NAFTA as it formerly was, I guess, was from his decisions in the previous term, as far as I understand. Anyway, this Canada puts in place this like quote fentanyl czar in which I had seen people saying that this was part of a plan that Canada already had in place, or like people were saying that Canada was only taking actions that it was intent on doing already, which might be the case. My understanding is that this pushed it forward a bit, and they did pick a fentanyl czar.
Yeah, I mean, so timeline everyone's not doing. He's like, he asked for tariffs, right? And then there's 30 days. It starts out, and then immediately before it happens, Canada says we're gonna have more guards on the border and a fentanyl czar. Yeah. And then Mexico said the same thing. We're gonna have more
similar from Mexico. I think Mexico actually did more. Something that I didn't know is like part of this, Mexico sent 29 drug lords into U.S. custody from Mexican custody in an effort to extradited people in an effort to like appease the tariffs being frozen. So
that's what, his messaging has been all over the place, which is initially it's this is for fentanyl, and now it's for economic disparity. And then I saw a quote yesterday, which is that nobody really knows what he wants, so there isn't anything they can do to like it's not clear.
That's my big issue.
That's been the latest. That is the latest like update to this
and
story,
that's
right?
Brendan's only issue with Trump.
His only issue. You've been really pro Trump. You've been really pro Trump.
Hat is coming on
especially
soon.
in private. Especially in private. When you're away, from your platform,
to you later. Okay.
But I think that is the frustration from what I can see, right? Because this 30-day freeze runs out, and then the tariffs are just back in place, and Canada and Mexico are like, we did what you wanted. Why are they back? Yeah. And then the tariffs, apparently there's an exception. There's a 10% instead of 25% tariff on energy, specifically Canadian energy exports.
Yeah.
And
they exempt the cars too, right?
And then today, that was the update today, is that the auto the auto exports or the auto industry gets like a carve out now. And so
Yeah, I
that's the
heard
thing. It
'cause-
changes every morning. The Canadians and the Mexicans seem very frustrated that the goalposts continue to be shifted, much like me in an argument. And I'm kind of that's the kind of the introduction to this topic is that's what's going on with the tariffs. I think it seems crazy inconsistent. I don't fully understand what the goals are.